Alright, today's video is not really a vlog per se. Today's video is honestly just gonna be a sit-down conversation between you and me, because we gotta talk about something serious. Personal finance. I know, it's every college kid's nightmare. The stereotype is always so true, broke college student, and I've been there. I've definitely seen the negative bank account, the overdraft fees, but I've also seen the really good side of things. And I know what you're thinking, what does this kid possibly know about finance? What makes him qualified? And to answer that question, I'm not qualified. That's it for this video. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Fahim Chowdhury and I am a student here at NJIT, and in my final semester I'm giving away all of my tips, tricks, and pieces of advice of college life in order to just help out the people coming into college. Today I'm going to be giving you 7 college money tips to keep you on track during college. Through my time here, I realized there are 3 things that you have to build, and that is build an understanding, build a savings, and build credit. So let's start with building an understanding of personal finance. And guess what? You're doing step 1 right now. Pursue as many resources as you can. The best resources are the ones around you, so I would ask family, pick their brain about their advice and how they approach personal finance. Definitely go that route. But here's where things get a little bit tricky. If you're like me and you're a child of an immigrant, finance and money in general is not something you talk about. You don't talk about it at the dinner table. You don't really talk about it in general, to be honest. I'm fortunate enough, as I'm getting older, me and my dad can talk about these things, and I've gotten a lot of great tips from him because he kills it. He has a great credit score and all that. So I'm fortunate that I can ask him anything nowadays, but I understand that for a lot of people, some people actually think it's disrespectful. Maybe they can't answer the question that you're asking and it becomes an ego kind of thing. If I'm being completely honest, children of immigrants have it a little bit harder when it comes to understanding personal finance because the resources aren't handed to us and they're never really spoken about. And again, it can be a messy situation if your family isn't comfortable talking about money in general. So what I would recommend instead, I really recommend going to Barnes & Nobles or a bookstore, spending 1 or 2 hours there, picking up books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Richest Man in Babylon, which I just picked up. Sit down for an hour or 2 and just get a feel for these books, and if you're really interested on it, probably purchase them. What I like about books is you're getting people's entire lives boiled down into 200 pages. So the advice is tested and true. Why not give it a read? Now, if you're not interested in learning about personal finance holistically, maybe there's something in particular you want to learn about, there's a bunch of different resources here on YouTube. If you're interested in one day traveling the world for free off of credit cards, points, and miles, there's YouTubers like Credit Shifu, Ask Sebi, Brian Jung. If you're interested about investing, there's NJIT. If you're interested in just personal finance, maybe a little bit of everything, there's obviously Grant Stephan, who's killing it, who's like the personal finance guy. And there's a bunch of these resources everywhere. You just have to Google or YouTube. It's there for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just pursue resources left and right and find what you're interested in and zone in on it and become a little bit of a hobbyist or specialist in that field. Moving right along is step number 2 is building a savings. And this is the hardest thing to do as a college student because our income is low, our expenses are kind of medium to high side, especially if you're socializing. You wouldn't imagine how much of socializing has to do with food and drink until you just count your bills. So I'm gonna break savings and credit into 3 levels. But for level number 1, to keep you in check, there's this simple rule out there. It's called the Jay-Z rule. This is like a hypothetical tip, is if you're not comfortable buying the item twice, you can't really afford it. And if you're confused, this next example should help out. So let's say me, I have $980 in my checking account, and the Mavic Mini just came out, and I'm a video guy. I would love to have drone footage in my vlogs. It came out, I think it came out for like $400. So $400, and I have $980 in my checking account. Now, looking at it simply by numbers, it's simple that I have enough money to buy the drone. I have more than enough. The Jay-Z rule tells you or makes you ask yourself, am I comfortable buying this hypothetically twice? Am I hypothetically okay with paying $800 rather than $400 to get this drone? And that would leave me with $180 in my bank account. Am I hypothetically okay having that? And personally, I would not be okay with having only $180 in my bank account because I know life happens. Just recently, I needed to get new brakes, I needed to get tires aligned, I needed new wipers. So that's just something that happened to me actually in real life personally just a month ago, and those expenses add up, especially with food, travel, blah blah blah. Everything adds up. So hypothetically, yes, I have more than enough money to buy this drone, but is it a smart decision to go forward? Probably not. So Jay-Z's rule is not really a rule per se. It's a mindset and something to keep you in check with your spending and savings. It's just this extra barrier protection because, again, he says purchasing something and affording something are two very different things. Level number 2 for savings is to actually put money into a savings. So here I'm assuming that you have some form of income. It can be super small. You can sell stuff on eBay. Maybe you have an on-campus job or a part-time job at a fast food joint somewhere, but I'm assuming that you get somewhere from like $50 to $100 minimum a week. The tip that everyone gives is to save anywhere from 10 to 20% of your income. And for those of you out there that can do that every week or every paycheck, where you take your direct deposit or your check and you do the math and you put that percentage into your savings, that's awesome. But for some of us, we're busy and we would like something a little bit more automatic, something we can set and forget. And here's where I use an app on my phone called Acorns. Acorns is an investing savings app. I have it set so I put, what is it? Alright, so I thought that it would probably be easier if I just actually show you on my phone. So we're going to dive into the app. The really cool thing about Acorns is it's not just a savings app, it actually invests your money as well. If you're completely new to investing, it makes it really easy through stock portfolios. For me personally, I'm putting away $65 every week. So every week on Friday, that money gets taken from my bank account and saved and invested. And the really fun thing about Acorns is you get to play around with this graph. So right now it's showing you my savings for years and years to come, like when I'm in my 60s. But let's just say for fun, let's change it to maybe one day I'm able to save $180 a week. And if I plug that in, there's my projected value, and that is a nice chunk of change right there. So if you download Acorns, be sure to just do it consistently, like on a weekly or monthly basis. Be consistent with it and set and forget it, and you can play around with this tool and get an idea where your money is going to end up. If you're interested in using Acorns, I'm going to leave a link down below. It's a referral link, like a lot of the links down below. You can do it as small as like $5 a week. Just send $5 from your direct deposit. Once it hits your bank, send $5 to Acorns. Let that store for months and months and months. Don't even worry about it. And by the time you check on it again, it'll be a number you can't even imagine. Level number 3 for savings. So what I'm also going to be linking down below is a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is manipulative. You can plug in your monthly expenses. At the end, when you plug in all your numbers, it'll show you how much you're spending a month and how much your gross income is. And it's up to you with this information to balance where you want to go from here. What are your goals? How much are you going to be setting aside? Will you be using Acorns? Will you be using some other platform? Will you be investing with Robinhood? Level 3 is really open for you people that want to take this to the next level. Hopefully you get some eye-opening results. Maybe it's something different than you normally expected your monthly expenses to be. And honestly, it's free range from here. Good luck. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section below again. And the third thing that you should be building in terms of finance in college is building credit. And I say credit is super important, especially in this country, because credit is a way for companies to find out if you're trustworthy with their money. So a lot of big purchases way later in the road, like car payments and buying a house, they're going to be using your credit score. And you want to have a high credit score because showing that you are trustworthy gives you a lot more of opportunity. Opportunity means a lot of more options. Options means freedom, and that's what this country is all about. And honestly, the earlier you tackle credit, the less of a monster it is. How would you get started with credit in college? And that's kind of obvious. That would be having a form of credit. If you're a student who has student loans, that is a form of credit. However, the goal is to pay those off in the future. And that is showing that you are responsible with your money. But what you really want to do early in college or anywhere within your 4 years is to open your first credit card. And I know this is a major step. Maybe you've been using debit this whole time. Maybe you've been using cash and credit scares you a little bit. But I assure you, by opening a student credit card, and student credit cards are usually pretty forgiving. They understand that this is your first credit card. You'll be on your way to small, like little by little, building your credit You should be using the student credit card like you would cash. This is super, super important. Pay the credit card off every month. Do not keep a balance on the credit card, or else your score will decrease. This is similar to the Jay-Z rule. You should only spend on the credit card if you know you have the cash for it. The credit card should only be a middleman for the purchases, and in return, these student credit cards have some perks. I'm actually gonna recommend a great option for your first credit card, and that would be, my big recommendation for a student credit card is the Discover It student card. Because it is a student card, they realize that this is going to be a lot of people's first card, so they're really forgiving. It has 5% rotational categories, so every 3 months you'll get an email on like something you can get cash back with. Something really awesome about this card is Cashback Match, which is within your first year, all the spending that you did, all the cash back that you earn, after year 1, they'll match it. Also with this card, which is great, is student rewards. If you maintain like a 3.0 or 3.5 GPA, they'll give you $20 in statement credit. And you do this every time you get your report card or your GPA. I think this is open to high school students as well. This is a great card and a popular card. I was surprised. I go out to eat with my friends a lot. When me and my friends split the check, we always pull out the same card. Like 5 out of the 6 of us have this card because it was our first student card, because it's that good. Discover has great customer service. It's a great first credit card because it's forgiving. They have a lot of benefits. It's not restrictive. And for you guys, I'm going to be leaving another link in the description below. If you click on that link down below and get approved for this card, you are getting $50 in statement credit. That's just their gift to you. Also, be sure to use that student good grades rewards. You'll get $20 on top of that, so that's $70 that you can be getting. Once again, the Discover It student card is probably your best option for your first credit card here in college. Level number 2 is to really have a firm understanding of what will make a great credit score. So there's a lot of myths around what a credit score, what it's made out of. Like, a lot of people are scared of it. I don't know why credit has been ingrained to be so scary, but the information is out there. I just recommended the Discover card. Let's jump into the Discover app, where they offer a free credit score scoreboard. This is just one of the many benefits that Discover has when you are a card holder with them. Let's dive into the app and get a real understanding of what makes a great credit score. So one more time, we're going to dive into an app on my phone. You want to go to the option in the Discover app called FICO Credit Scorecard. Again, this is completely free when you're a Discover card holder. There's my score right there. You'll see that I've taken some points down only because I've been playing around with my credit cards, but it'll surely be in the very good range pretty soon. What I really want to show you right now is the components of what makes your score. So if we go into total accounts, you'll see that I have 10 lines of credit. 8 of those, however, are student loans. The goal is to pay those off at some point, so I'll be down to 2, and that's not too good. So you really want to diversify your lines of credit, meaning multiple cards and loans. You'll see the length of my credit is poor, 3 years. There's nothing really you can do about that other than just have credit for longer. Inquiries is 0. I feel like that's wrong for some reason, but also revolving utilization isn't showing up, but I don't really, maybe that's the app, maybe the app hasn't updated, but you really want to keep that as low as possible. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And missing payments, of course, is 0, exceptional, because that's what's going to ding your score the most. You'll see it's actually 35% of your score. You really want to be on top of yourself for not missing any payments and paying everything off in full. Altogether, these are the components that make your credit score, and if you just keep on top of yourself for a long time, again, consistency is the key, your score is going to go up and up and up. Level number 3, I actually have 2 tips for you. And this is to get further into the credit card or credit building game. As you can see from the Discover app, a big portion of what makes your credit score is called your credit utilization. Now, I'm sure level 3 is going to be like a little bit confusing for some of you people, but for people that are passionate about personal finance, this is just some quick tips that I'm going to give you. 2 tips. One is to increase your credit limit. You saw that a big chunk of what makes your credit score is your credit utilization. So let's put it in simple terms. I have a credit limit of $1,000. And monthly, I spend $100 on that card. That means I'm using 10% of my credit. Now, if I were to ask Discover to maybe bump up my credit limit, which I personally have done, And the reason for this is, let's say as of now, my credit limit is $3,000 like I just said, but let's say I'm still using only $100 of that credit limit. My percentage is way lower than 10%, and this, even though I'm spending the same amount of money, because my credit limit is higher, the banks Discover in this case is seeing that, oh, this is someone who's really careful about spending their money percentage-wise, because they're looking at data points most of the time. So to them, I'm a responsible customer that's using a very low amount of their money, because this is their money that they're lending to me. So I am a reliable and trustworthy client or customer of their bank. And I stress this, and this is important, even though I'm bumping up my credit limit, I am not spending anything more. I'm keeping my spending the same. And this will, you'll see over time, will bump up your score even higher, because you have a higher level of using credit, but you're still being responsible with the money, and that's just a win-win for the bank and for you. My second tip of level 3 is to actually go and get your second credit card. I know this is like a lot of information really fast, and I'm not trying to sell stuff to you, because I do actually have a link for the second credit card down below as well. I really recommend having a second credit card, because another one of those boxes in the Discover card is your lines of credit, your revolving credit. We're seeing nowadays that actually having multiple lines of credit is beneficial for your score. I really recommend that you get this second credit card and you start to shift your spending between the two cards, because now you're showing to the credit lenders that you're responsible not only with one card, but with many lines of credit, not only with Discover, not only with Chase, but across the board. So this is your first card, and actually the second card that I'm going to recommend is the Chase Freedom, right up top. I have to cover this up, but it's by Chase Bank. It's called the Chase Freedom. It's much like the Discover card, where there's 5% categories, but it gives you points. If you're into points and miles, this is one of the parts of the Chase trifecta. That's a whole different video topic that I'm probably not going to cover ever, but I would definitely check out one of those YouTubers I listed before. But I will be leaving a link for both the Discover card and the Freedom card down below. With that being said, we are at the end of the video. I've given you 8 tips on how to up your personal finance game while you're in college. I know it's a lot of information, and I know it's serious stuff when you already have serious stuff to worry about, like midterms and finals and all that. But I assure you, the sooner you get a grasp on personal finance, the easier it will be down the road. It won't hit you like a train, especially when you're trying to build credit in your mid-20s and you don't have time because life happens. This is a great opportunity. This 4-year window that you have here in college is a great opportunity to get a grasp on building credit, building savings, and building an understanding. I hope this video gave you some insight on some steps you should be taking. I'm not saying that you should apply this all to your life. That's why there were levels to this video, for level 1, for beginners, 2, blah, 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 because personal finance is a choose your own adventure game. Thank you for coming this far. I know this was a very different type of video than I usually do. I usually mix vlog with advice and blah, blah, blah. But from now on, I'm actually going to be taking viewer recommendations on videos. So if you have anything college related that you want me to cover, make a video about. Also, if you would like me to do a question and answer video, I've been contemplating doing that for a while. Please leave that in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate the feedback. And in return, I'm giving you all the advice, as many answers as I can through the comments as well, and all the links will be in the description. I hope you guys have a good one, and just know that this is the beginning. College is the beginning of the journey, but the more preparation you have, the more you're going to kill it later. Well, that's it for me today, guys. If you have any questions, again, leave it in the comment section below. If you want to chat about advice in detail, probably send me a direct message on Instagram. Other than that, that's all I had for today. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.